This is lesson 20, part 3, and it is time to practice. Remember that the time signature is chosen by the composer, and we'll see it at the leftmost side of the staff to the right of the clef and other important decoding information. The time signature provides us with two very important bits of decoding information that will enable us to fully realize the note and rest values that we see on a page of music. The top number of the time signature tells us how many beats there will be in a measure, and the bottom number tells us what kind of note value will be our beat or pulse note, so which note value will receive just one pulse. From there, we can assign specific pulse values to each and every note and rest value in the pyramids we've learned. In everyday life, we track time in seconds, minutes, and hours, and in music, we track time or duration in beats and subdivisions of those beats. The beat is a recurring pulse in music, and similar to a second hand on a clock, it is predictable and it is independent of anything else going on around it. Rhythm in music refers to when we start and stop notes or sounds in music, and when we start and stop silences or rests in music. Rhythm is dependent on a pulse or a beat to be fully realized.
Returning to Rhythm Workshop by Sally K. Albrecht, beginning with exercise 8 in the 4-4 section of the book. Looking at example 1, we'll look at our time signature, 4-4 times. So the top number of the time signature tells us how many beats there are in a measure. In this case, 4 beats per measure. And the bottom number tells us what kind of note value will be our beat or pulse note. In this case, we could think of the 4 as the denominator of a fraction, and that reminds us that a quarter note is going to be equal to 1 beat. So we can go over here to our note and rest value pyramids and just apply that information. So we'll assign 1 beat to each quarter note and quarter rest, and that means that half notes will be 2 beats each. 4 beats will be whole notes and whole rests, and then half a beat for each 8th note and 8th rest. And just scanning through, our smallest note value is a quarter note, so our 1 beat note. So we can just be content with thinking in do's. Do, 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 do. We don't need to subdivide beyond that if we don't want to. Remember that our whole notes will be worth 4 beats, so continue to clap or tap your foot to the pulse through those long notes and also through the rest. The pulse continues no matter what else is going on the page. We'll set our metronome at 80, and we will clap the pulse, and then we will speak the rhythm. 1, 2, ready, clap. 1, 2, ready, speak. Do, 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 do. Moving on to example 2, you'll notice that we have half notes and quarter rests and quarter notes and whole notes, and we also have half notes now. So we'll want to make sure that we say do and then hold that through for 2 full beats. Setting our metronome at 80, we're going to clap our pulse. 1, 2, ready, clap. 1, 2, ready, speak. Do, 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 do. Moving on to exercise 11 in the 4-4 section of the book. Looking at example 4 today, we have the same time signature, 4-4 times, so we're not going to work our way through that pyramid and break down again. We'll just note that our quarter notes will be our do notes, our 1 beat note. And then our eighth notes right here will be our do day notes. They will be our half beat notes. So let's begin just by marking all of our do's. We'll be marking every single beat with a red slash mark. So a quarter rest will be 1 beat, a quarter note, 1 beat. Our next do will fall right here. Those 2 eighth notes together worth half a beat each. We'll finish up that full beat, and then a quarter rest is our do. Right here, quarter rest, quarter note, do day together equals 1 beat. Here our do will fall on the rest, so that'll be silent. And then this eighth rest plus this eighth note will equal the full beat, so our next do will fall right here. Again, our do will fall right on that eighth rest, so that'll be silent, and the rest and the eighth note together are going to make 1 beat, so our next do will fall here on the quarter note. Again, another do that falls right on that rest. The eighth rest and the eighth note together will be 1 beat. Do day together is 1 beat. Another do day together is 1 beat. Notice now he's beamed them in groups of 4. Doesn't matter. It still only has 1 beam, so it's still an eighth note. And then we have a do that falls right on that quarter rest. That's a full beat by itself. Another do here on the quarter note. Quarter note worth 1 beat. 2 eighth notes together worth a beat. Quarter rest worth a beat. Quarter note worth a beat. Quarter note worth a beat. 2 eighth notes together worth a beat. Quarter rest worth 1 beat. Quarter note worth 1 beat. Quarter note worth 1 beat. 2 eighth notes together, half a beat each equals 1 beat total. Another do right here. Another do for this quarter note. Quarter rest is our next do. Quarter note, quarter note, quarter rest. So I'm looking at this example and just noting that my smallest note value is an eighth note. So I'm going to be wanting to subdivide that pulse into a steady stream of do day, do day, do day, do day. I don't need to whisper or mouth this out loud if that's not helpful, but I want to be internally sensing or feeling that pulse. Even if we don't apply syllables to it, we want to be feeling ba, 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 just to accurately be able to place these eighth notes and eighth rests especially. So I'm going to find my measures that have any rhythms in it that look a little bit tricky, and I think I'm going to focus on the 2 measures that contain eighth rests, where the eighth rest falls right on the beat, right on the do. So I'm going to start by just drawing in the eighth note subdivided pulse, just showing where that will fall. So 2 eighth notes together, a do day will fit into this first quarter rest. Do day will fit into that quarter note. Obviously, each of these notes is a do and a day itself. And then we'll have a do that falls right on that eighth rest, and the day that will fall right onto that eighth note. And then, if it's helpful for now, I could even go so far as to write in the syllables under these subdivided pulse notes. And then I could even go so far as to underline the syllables I'm going to say out loud and cross out the ones that I'm just going to think internally. So I won't say that first do day actually. I will say this do, and then I will just hold that through the day. I need to say this do, and I need to see this day. I will not say this do, even though it's still going to happen. It just has to happen silently. And then I will say this day. So without worrying about a super steady pulse, just going slowly with as stable pulse as I can, I'm going to try whispering or mouthing the do days I've crossed out, and then speaking loudly the syllables that I need to say, just to sort of get a sense of what this rhythm is going to sound like. 1, 2, ready, go. Do, day, day. I'm going to do that again. Ready, go. Do, day, day. Now I can try tapping a slow but stable pulse without the metronome on. Here's my steady pulse. 1, 2, ready, go. Do, day, do. day, day. And I could do that a few more times until it feels a little bit easier. Let's look at the next measure. I'm going to first of all write in my subdivided due day pulse notes. Feel free to pause the video and just make sure that makes sense. Then I'm going to write in those syllables. And then I'm going to underline the syllables that I need to say and cross out the ones I don't need to say. Now, trying to keep as stable a pulse as possible, I'm just going to speak the syllables that I need to say out loud and then either mouth or whisper or internally think and account for the syllables that I won't need to speak out loud. 1, 2, ready, go. Do, day, do, day. I'm going to tap a beat without the metronome on and speak it again. Ready, go. Do, day, do, day. Now we're ready to try the whole thing with the metronome. Setting the metronome at 60. We're going to clap this beat or tap it with your foot. Ready, clap. Remember to try to keep a subdivided do, day, do, day, do, day, do, day. Pulse going inside or whisper mouth. The silent syllables in the rest if helpful. 1, 2, ready, speak. Do, day. Do, day, day, do. Day, do. Day, do, day, do, day. Do, day. Do, day. Do, day, do, day, do. Do.
If reading the exercise we just did together seems easy to you, then that's wonderful. If you're sitting there discouraged thinking, how in the world did you just put that with the metronome and kept a steady beat at the same time and it's just overwhelming, or if you're halfway in between those, please don't fret and just keep chipping away at this. In making these practice videos, I'm trying to give you a template for how to work your way through these exercises, but I could fully expect somebody to take 2 or 3 weeks even to just do the step of marking beats, breaking it down with a due day pulse, and maybe doing a couple of the practice measures without the metronome and maybe without even tapping a beat, just kind of trying to keep a stable pulse. Other people might find they need to do that process just for a few days and then they're ready to try with the slow metronome pulse. Other people might find that the metronome is just what sets them over the top. So maybe for a time, they're just going to clap a relatively stable pulse and then speak the rhythm to that. We can go a little bit slower often and be a little bit more forgiving and have a little more give in the pulse to make it a little bit easier. And then when that's easy, maybe put it with a very slow metronome pulse, perhaps slower than 60, maybe 50, maybe even 45. Remember that if your goal is to develop fluency and ease with these reading skills, then you'll need to commit to regular practice. So aim low for duration, high for frequency. 6 out of 7 days a week is ideal, and be patient with yourself. Remember to stay on each step until you genuinely feel that it's easy. Do not rush the process. Do not worry if it seems to be taking you longer to do certain steps than you think it should. Keep chipping away and you will develop fluency and ease. These are hard rhythms we're reading, especially the last one. They're pretty complex already. So I would fully expect that for many people to develop genuine ease and efficiency with this kind of a level of rhythmic reading might take 1, 2, 3 years even of 10-minute per day practice. And I don't say that to be discouraging. I say it to be realistic. If it takes you less time than that, great. And consider yourself gifted in advance. You'll get there. Keep chipping away at it.